Hey plant lovers! Welcome back to Plantelier. Today, we're talking about something special. Houseplants that aren't just temporary decorations, but lifelong companions. These 5 plants can live for decades indoors, some even outliving their owners. If you want plants that grow with you, that you can pass down to your children, or that become family heirlooms, these are the ones. Let's dive into 5 incredible houseplants that can live over 20 years indoors with proper care. Before we get started, if you're enjoying this content, hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Number 1. Jade plant. The living heirloom. Jade plants are famous for their longevity. With proper care, they can live for 50 to 100 years, and there are documented jade plants that are over 100 years old. These succulents start as small plants with coin-shaped leaves and develop into substantial tree-like specimens with thick, woody trunks over the decades. What makes jade plants so long-lived is their slow, steady growth and incredible resilience. They store water in their thick leaves and trunk, allowing them to survive periods of neglect. They're not easily killed by occasional mistakes, which is crucial for a plant that will be with you for decades. Care is straightforward. Jade plants need bright light, ideally near a sunny window where they'll develop that beautiful reddish tinge on their leaf edges. Water only when the soil is completely dry, which is usually every 2 to 3 weeks. In winter, they need even less water, sometimes only once a month. As jade plants age, they develop character. The trunk thickens and becomes gnarled, branches form, and the plant takes on a miniature tree appearance without any training. A mature jade plant in a large pot can go weeks without water and rarely needs repotting. They can stay in the same pot for 5 to 10 years. Money-saving benefit: a small jade plant costs $5 to $10. Over 20 years. That's essentially free entertainment and beauty for pennies per year. Compare that to buying new trendy plants constantly. Plus, jade plants propagate easily from leaves or stems, so your one plant can become dozens over the decades, creating a legacy you can share with family and friends. The emotional value of a jade plant increases over time. Watching a plant you bought as a tiny 4-inch pot grow into a substantial 2-foot tree over 20 years creates a real connection. Many people name their old jade plants and consider them part of the family. Number 2. Cast iron plant. Indestructible and eternal. The cast iron plant earned its name because it's nearly impossible to kill. These plants can live for 30 to 50 years indoors, surviving everything from neglect to less than ideal conditions. They have long, dark green, blade-like leaves that emerge directly from the soil, creating an elegant, architectural display. What makes cast iron plants remarkable for longevity is their tolerance of almost any condition. They thrive in low light where most plants would die. They tolerate irregular watering, dry air, temperature fluctuations, and general neglect. This resilience means they survive through different life phases, moves to new homes, changing schedules, and all the chaos life brings over decades. Cast iron plants grow slowly, which is actually perfect for a long-lived plant. They don't outgrow their space quickly or demand constant repotting. Care is minimal. They prefer low to medium light and actually dislike direct sun. Water when the top 2 inches of soil feel dry, usually every 1 to 2 weeks. They tolerate dry air perfectly, so no misting or humidifiers needed. As cast iron plants age, they form impressive clumps of foliage that can fill a large floor pot. A 20-year-old cast iron plant might have hundreds of leaves, creating a lush, full display. Money-saving reality. Cast iron plants are expensive when bought large, often $50 to $100 for mature specimens. But buy a small one for $20 to $30, and over 20 years, it becomes that impressive plant you would have paid $100 for. The initial investment pays off exponentially over time. There's something deeply satisfying about a plant that will be with you through major life changes. Your cast iron plant can move with you through apartments, houses, career changes, relationships, and family growth. It becomes a constant in a changing world, a green anchor that's always there. Number 3, rubber plant. The majestic tree. Rubber plants can easily live 30 to 50 years indoors and grow into substantial indoor trees, reaching 6 to 10 feet tall. They start as small plants with glossy burgundy or green leaves and develop into impressive specimens with thick trunks and multiple branches over the years. What makes rubber plants excellent long-term companions is their relatively fast growth when young, slowing as they mature. You get the satisfaction of seeing significant growth in the early years. Then the plant stabilizes into a majestic presence that changes slowly over decades. Rubber plants are also remarkably adaptable. They tolerate a range of light conditions and are forgiving of occasional watering mistakes. Care is straightforward. Place your rubber plant in bright indirect light for best growth. Water when the top 2 inches of soil feel dry, usually weekly. The large leaves collect dust, so wipe them down monthly with a damp cloth. As rubber plants age, you can shape them through pruning. If your plant gets too tall, cut it back, and it will branch out. The trunk becomes substantial, sometimes several inches in diameter, and the overall appearance becomes truly tree-like. Money-saving perspective. Small rubber plants cost $15 to $25. Large mature rubber plants at nurseries cost $150 to $300 or more. Growing your own from small to large over 15 to 20 years saves you that money while giving you the satisfaction of nurturing it to maturity. There's also the option to propagate your rubber plant as it grows. Every time you prune, those cuttings can become new plants. Over 20 years, one rubber plant can spawn dozens of offspring that you can keep, give away, or even sell. Number 4, kentia palm. The elegant survivor. Kentia palms are famous for their longevity and elegance. They can live 40 to 50 years or more indoors, slowly growing into graceful specimens that bring tropical beauty to any space. These palms were favorites in Victorian homes, and many of those original plants are still alive today, over 100 years later. What makes kentia palms special for long-term growing is their slow, steady growth and incredible tolerance of indoor conditions. Unlike many palms that struggle indoors, Kentias adapted to lower light and drier air. They're patient plants that reward patient owners. Kentia palms have feathery fronds that arch gracefully from multiple stems. They grow slowly, adding just 1 or 2 new fronds per year, but over decades, they develop into substantial plants that can reach 6 to 8 feet tall indoors with a lush, full appearance. Care is moderate and doesn't change much as the plant ages. Kentias prefer medium to bright indirect light, but tolerate lower light better than most palms. Water when the top inch of soil feels dry, usually once or twice weekly. They appreciate humidity, but adapt to normal indoor levels if you miss them occasionally. Here's the secret to long-term kentia palm success: consistency. These palms don't like sudden changes. Keep them in the same location, maintain consistent watering, and avoid moving them around. They reward stability with steady, healthy growth over decades. As kentia palms age, the older fronds eventually yellow and die. This is natural. Simply cut off yellowed fronds at the base. The plant continuously produces new fronds at the top while shedding old ones at the bottom, maintaining its elegant appearance throughout its life. One challenge with very long-lived kentia palms is their eventual size. A 40-year-old kentia can be quite large. However, they're slow-growing enough that you can plan for this. They also maintain their shape well without pruning, unlike some plants that become leggy or ungainly with age. Money-saving angle. Small kentia palms cost $30 to $50. Large, mature kentias at nurseries cost $300 to $600 or more. Growing your own over 20 to 30 years means you eventually have that expensive statement plant for a fraction of the cost. The wait requires patience, but the kentia palm teaches patience through its slow, steady growth. There's something special about a kentia palm that's been with you for decades. As it grows, it marks the passage of time. The fronds you see today will be gone in a few years, replaced by new growth, yet the plant continues, a living timeline of your life. Number 5. Monstera deliciosa. The growing legend. Monsteras can easily live 20 to 40 years indoors, growing into massive, impressive specimens with enormous split leaves. These plants start as small things with solid leaves and develop into jungle giants with leaves that can be 2 to 3 feet across, full of dramatic splits and holes. What makes monsteras excellent long-term plants is their vigorous growth when young and their ability to be managed as they mature. They're exciting to grow because you see dramatic changes year by year as leaves get larger and more split. A 5-year-old monstera looks completely different from a 20-year-old one. Monsteras are also very forgiving and adaptable. They tolerate a range of light from medium to bright indirect, handle occasional watering mistakes, and don't demand high humidity, though they appreciate it. This resilience helps them survive the ups and downs of decades of care. Care is straightforward. Provide bright indirect light for the best growth and largest leaves. Water when the top 2 inches of soil feel dry, usually weekly. Provide a moss pole or trellis for the plant to climb, which encourages larger leaves and more splits. Wipe down leaves monthly to keep them glossy. As monsteras age, they can become very large. This is where pruning and training come in. You can cut back a monstera to keep it manageable, and the cuttings root easily to create new plants, or you can let it grow wild, creating a dramatic indoor jungle effect. Here's a long-term monstera secret. The aerial roots that monsteras produce are normal and healthy. Don't cut them off. Direct them into the soil or onto a moss pole. These roots help support the plant and absorb moisture and nutrients. Very old monsteras have impressive systems of aerial roots that add to their dramatic appearance. The leaves of a mature monstera are stunning, while young plants might have small leaves with no splits. A 20-year-old monstera produces massive leaves with deep splits and large holes, the fenestrations that make monsteras famous. Watching your plant develop these dramatic leaves over years is incredibly rewarding. Money-saving benefit: small monsteras cost $15 to $30. Large mature specimens with huge split leaves cost $150 to $300 at nurseries. Growing your own means you get that impressive plant for a fraction of the cost. Plus, monsteras are easy to propagate, so your one plant can create many more over the years. There's also a community aspect to long-lived monsteras. These plants are trendy now, but they've been popular for decades. Your 20-year-old monstera connects you to a long tradition of monstera growers. It's a plant with history and character that only age can provide. So there you have it. 5 houseplants that can live over 20 years indoors, becoming true companions on your life journey. These aren't disposable decorations, but living investments that grow in value and beauty over time. Choose plants that will grow with you and enjoy the deep satisfaction of long-term plant relationships. All right, plant friends, if you found this helpful, subscribe to Plantelier for more long-term plant care advice. Drop a comment and let me know. Do you have any plants that have been with you for many years? What's your oldest plant? And what topics would you like to see next? Hit that like button if you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching, and here's to plants that last a lifetime. Happy planting.